Welcome to May's episode of Wallow Cam Moments. Before we get to it, here is a very brief Larsa Oasis update. Kobe, our lamanitic Shetland, is now at home to spend the summer away from Larsa Oasis' rich pastures, and sadly Willow. But he will be reunited with her in the autumn. Willow, on the other hand, is thoroughly enjoying the rich pastures along with the sheep. The sheep field shelter has been pitched clean of winter bedding and a little fresh straw added. Here it is when it was ready to pen the sheep for Dan, who dropped in a couple of weeks ago to shear the sheep. This will make them more comfortable for the summer months to come. Sadly, we have lost Limpy. He became seriously ill at the age of 17 just before shearing. We decided not to put him through the shearing process, and he passed 2 days later. Unlike most sheep in my experience, he never gave up, but the ending was inevitable. Boy, we're going to miss his presence here at Larsa Oasis. Like Goatee, he became a fixture and will be missed greatly. Here he is, grazing alongside Willow in happier times. Rest in peace, Limpy. Willow and Kobe's winter feeding area has been cleared of all poached hay, harrowed, and is now enjoying a rest with the fresh air working its magic. The open-air worm bed has been the beneficiary of the soiled straw and hay, with the worms now turning it over at their leisure. We have not had much rainfall lately, so we've had to fire up the borehole and fill a couple of the header tanks to keep the troughs topped up. And now you're up to date. Welcome to Wallow Cam Moments, May 2025. It's still the breeding season and the birds are very busy. It's hard work and they're trying to grab a drink whenever they can and keep themselves clean by bathing every opportunity. Some of the birds are starting to look a bit tatty, especially the blue tits. Nest building continues, blackbirds for a second brood, and nest repairs are also underway for song thrushes, who like to build another nest, a new nest for their second brood attempt. Our African visitors continue to visit the Wallow Trough, notably chiffchaffs, willow warblers, blackcaps, and the whitethroat was put in its first appearance. Garden warblers continue to sing around Larsa Oasis, but as yet has not visited the Wallow Trough. Sadly, turtle doves have not been seen or heard, and I'm not aware of any in the area. Blackbirds are continuing to show their dominance with each other, and the resident blackbird at the Wallow Trough is continuing to dance for his lady. In fact, it's caught on. There's been a greenfinch this week who's also been trying to do a dance for his lady as well. Not as good as a blackbird, but he's doing his best. A mother badger has turned up with 2 of her cubs. There's a very pregnant muntjac, and the male has shed its antlers. We have also had our first fledgling on the Wallow Cam. So without further ado, it's lights, camera, action! This is an interesting clip where blue tits are seen collecting green foliage for their nest. Green leaves contain volatile compounds deterring parasites like mites and ticks. They also potentially create a more pleasant olfactory environment. Muntjacs shed their antlers by late spring and grow them back again during the summer. earth do they cut verges, roadside verges, at the end of April? Absolutely ridiculous. There's hardly any growth and you're killing off insect habitat. Insects that the birds now need. It's the breeding season, the birds need insects to get their young to fledge, and all you're doing is destroying the habitats. You're making it harder for the birds. There used to be some flowers along this roadside. They're all been taken away, topped off by the flails that you've sent round to clear the verges. Again, why? Bees and butterflies have had a hard enough time as it is the last couple of years, and yet you're taking away their very food at the beginning of the season. Ludicrous. Decisions made by morons, as far as I'm concerned. You shouldn't be doing it. 60% of all UK roads are what they class as C roads, unclassified roads, and they don't need cutting at all, as far as I'm concerned. I remember as a child biking around the countryside, looked to do fruit picking. There was no cutting, and all the flowers and the grasses grew out from the sides. It was absolutely beautiful. It was humming with butterflies, humming with bees. Now you just take away all of that resource from wildlife. I don't understand it. If it's safety, junctions, yeah. 50, 60 metres either side of a junction, yeah, I can get that. That's fine. But as far as the rest and all the straight bits of the road are concerned, no. Why, especially on C roads, why do it? Most of the C roads are really single track or narrow, and you can't get two cars past, yet they fly around here, and there are so many road casualties because these idiots are just driving so fast. Maybe leaving the verges to grow a little bit more will slow them down, because they maybe have to concentrate a little bit more, which is what they should be doing anyway if they're behind the wheel of a car. Unbelievable. Wildlife cannot accurately judge speed of vehicles going fast. Bear that in mind when you're driving down these single track roads in the countryside. Please, bit of thought for others. The authorities are always complaining that they don't have any money. Well, why waste it then? Waste it on fuel for these tractors and these flails going around doing unnecessary cutting. It's ridiculous. You're a liability to public office, to your job. You're a liability to nature. And that's got to stop, and you need to put your thinking hats on and start to rework what you're going to do in future with these verges, because there's no harm in just letting them be, apart from maybe around road junctions. But otherwise, C roads, let them be, give nature a bit more of a chance, for goodness sake. You hear people say you don't see the wildlife like you used to see. Well, are you wonder at it? Look at the verges, look what they're doing there. They're taking away any habitat, any chance that wildlife have of starting off life for their youngsters. For goodness sake, open your eyes and see what's going on. Pull your head out your backside, get it out of the sand and see what's going on, and then complain to your authorities and tell them, please do not cut your verges. There is no need. Nature's having a hard enough time as it is. Are you trying to kill off anything that remains, anything that's still there? You're doing your best. If you can't do your jobs responsibly, hand your notice in, let somebody else do it instead. I really don't understand it. It's absolutely pathetic. Rant over, ding dong, carry on.